everyone, welcome to my talk. My name is Ben, and I'm very happy to be on stage today with you. A couple of weeks ago, GUE asked me to talk about the GUE Fundamentals class since I'm GUE instructor, and maybe give some advice on how to prepare for the GUE Fundamentals class, if you like or if you plan to take one. I decided to do a talk in two parts. First, I'd like to tell you my personal story with GUE and how I got to know GUE and why I became instructor, and then give you my five most important tips on how to prepare for the class. Yeah, first you might recognize that I secretly renamed the talk to How Not to Extend Your Limits, because when I came in contact with GUE, that was around 2009, I wanted to extend my limits. I wanted to get into technical diving, Trimax, all that kind of stuff. But I learned that extending the limits was not the most important thing for me in the end. But first things first, I learned diving in 1998. As a teenager, I was 12 or 13 at that time. You can see in the picture, I think it was from the early 2000s. And I became member of a local dive club, a CMAS dive club. So before getting a tank first on my back, I had to do a lot of swimming, apnea diving, all that kind of stuff. And everyone who learned diving in a local club, be it CMAS, be it BSAC, whatever, knows what I'm talking about. Diving then became a passion for me, and I kept on going and became CMAS instructor in 2001, and later instructor trainer for CMAS. In 2004, I worked full-time as an instructor in the Mediterranean. And during that time, I gained some interest in technical diving and started Trimix diving. First, just self-taught, just without any sort of class or professional instruction. I was really confident at that time that I was a pretty good diver. In my early 20s, 2000 plus dives, full-time instructor trainer, you know what I mean. Still, YouTube University wasn't really a thing back in these days, and at some point I decided to take a proper Trimix class. I wrote to instructors of different training agency, and one of the instructors was GEO instructor Dirk Remmers. Maybe some of you guys know him. Dirk has the reputation of being really lazy with answering emails. So I wrote him in the middle of the night that I would like to take a Trimix class with him, and I wrote the same email to a couple of other instructors. The reason I ended up with GUE was that, and I call this divine intervention, the reason was he responded after less than 5 minutes, what was really unusual or is really unusual for him. Never got such a quick response from him again. Anyway, he told me that I would have to do a class before, the GUE Fundamentals class. Quite frankly, I never heard of that before, and Dirk explained to me what the Fundamentals class would be like. He told me, with the GUE Fundamentals class, you won't extend your limits, but you'll spend $1,000, sacrifice 4 holidays, and do the least enjoyable dives of your life. You will love it. And sure, I was like, what? Are you kidding me? I'm such a highly experienced instructor. I've done thousands of dives, and you're telling me to take a beginner's class again, spending a small fortune on a class that does not extend my limits? Come on, I wanted to do advanced diving and no Mickey Mouse stuff. Still, I overthought this for some days, And back in these days, I was really into martial arts, and I trained Jeet Kune Do for some years. And maybe you don't know it, but Jeet Kune Do is the martial arts system that was invented by Bruce Lee. And I remembered a famous quote from Bruce Lee, and those was, "I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times." And sure, uh, it's nothing bad to reinforce the basics, to literally train the one basic kick 10,000 times. So finally, I signed up for the GUE Fundamentals class with Derek. And what can I say? I learned that I fell for the Dunning-Kruger effect very badly in the end. There was much more to know about diving I never imagined before, and I improved on a lot of things during the class, like trim and buoyancy control. I fixed this annoying drifting forward motion when hovering in the water, and I learned that this comes from an unconscious movement of my fins due to improper weight distribution, and that was a thing I never thought of before. I learned the value of standardization and standardized procedures and got so many new ideas on how to be a better instructor. I learned that the instructor development process in GUE was exactly how I always thought instructors should be trained. And that was the day I decided to become a GUE instructor. I didn't know that it was a long way to go. Still, on this picture, you can see me on the SMS mark graph, which is a wreck that was cuddled in Scapa Flow. And on that picture, I'm surveying marine life on that wreck. Thank you, Richard Walker, for this nice picture. And quite frankly, I doubt I'd be able to do the things I like to do today in diving if I had dropped the idea of taking the fundamentals class back in 2009. What I did not do during the fundamentals class was, of course, I did not extend my limits. Yeah, and it changed my life as a diver, and not only as a diver, but as an instructor too. And Derek was right. I loved the class. And to be honest, it was a revelation to me. So, who can benefit from the fundamentals class? In my opinion, as well, the pro and the rookie can benefit from it alike. I consider myself to fall, even back in these days, into the pro category because I was, instructor. I was working as a full-time instructor. I was, I had a lot of dives. So I definitely fell into the pro category in these days. What was very interesting that was in my buddy in this class fell rather into the rookie category. He has, I think he was open water diver, has had like 50 dives or something like that. And we did, I would say, equally from the class. So what's the value of the class? The rookie can reinforce the freshly learned basic skills. He can begin his diving career with the end in mind. And this is one of the, I would say, core philosophies of GUE, beginning with the end in mind. Beginning with the end in mind means in the rather holistic GUE world that the student has never to unlearn things from a previous class. My favorite example for this is that even in a beginner's class, now I tell my students, perhaps when shooting the SMB, to wind the line around the spool and not the other way around. It has no real reason for a total beginner, but let's say this student takes a cave class some years later. If he developed the habit, the muscle memory to wind the spool around the line, he will likely do the same when using a spool in a cave. And in that case, he will unintentionally give an attention signal when he winds up the line, because he's wearing the light on the back of his hand. And in that case, if we develop that muscle memory, he would have to unlearn this behavior. Beginning with the end in mind means we don't do exactly that. So we teach everything a way that the student does not have to unlearn things he previously learned. As a pro diver, I benefited from the honest feedback. Very often, especially as an instructor, other divers don't tell you when your, let's say, trim is bad or your skills are not perfect. This class provides you with meaningful feedback, what in the end helps you to polish your skills. And you can have another experienced diver, another experienced instructor watch you for 4 days and tell you what you can do better. Last but not least, you might get a different view on many things, and it's never bad to question the things you do. In the end, I felt to be even a better instructor after the class because I got so many ideas of how to teach diving during my fundamentals class. I could take to my CMAS classes I taught after that. Yeah. So what can you expect from the GUE Fundamentals class? You can expect of doing 4 full days that are really filled with academics, dry runs, and in-water training or training dives. The days are really full, so usually I start my classes around 8 or 8:30, and usually it takes you at least to 6 in the evening. So days are really full. In the academic session, we talk a lot about things like gas planning, decompression, risk management, and so on. In the practice, every skill is introduced in something we call a dry run on land, where we develop the muscle memory to securely perform this particular drill underwater. And to be honest, it's very advisable to train everything on land where you can give your students direct feedback. And we train all the skills we do in the water, from propulsion techniques over valve management to gas sharing, SMB handling, all the things we do in the water. And this is one of the core concepts of the GUE Fundamentals class as well. And of course, we spend a lot of time in the water with training dives of increasing complexity. After every dive, you get honest feedback and, much more important, tips on how to improve, because it's not really helpful for you as a student that I tell you that your buoyancy control is bad. You probably already know this. It's important to tell the student how to fix this. And this is something I really liked in the GUE instructor development, that as a new instructor or as a instructor trainee, you really learn how to do debriefings. You really learn how to point out the 3 most important points to to make your student better, because this is what we all want to do as instructors. We want to make our students better. Yeah, this is one of the points I really liked, and I think was one of the reasons I decided to become GUE instructor. And this is exactly what we do during the 4 days of the GUE Fundamentals class. Yeah, this picture, just to show some more pictures, this picture is from one of my rookie students, I would call. When the picture was taken, she had around, when I remember it correctly, 30 dives, and quite frankly, it doesn't look too bad, does it? Guess at least I looked worse, much worse, back when I had like 2,000 dives. So the trim is good, and the posture and the water is good. Buoyancy control is very good, and with only 30 dives, and every time I train a student and I see really unexperienced students to be that good in the water, I'm every time amazed by this class and this program. So I hope I could convince you of the value of the GUE Fundamentals class. When I talk to potential students, many of them have a lot of doubts and questions. And the questions are mostly things like, how can I prepare for the class? What should I train for? Am I ready for the class, or should I wait like half a year or a year more? Should I do like 50 dives more to take the class? Am I skilled enough? Do I need some more skills or something like that? What equipment do I need? And as I promised in the beginning, here is the second part, and here are my 5 top tips for the fundamentals class. So if you're already interested in the fundamentals class, get these 5 tips to prepare for the class. Number 1, you are skilled enough. There is no too early to take the class. The sooner you take it, the better. If you are a certified diver, you can take the class and you will benefit from it, no matter if you are an open water diver with like 30 dives, or you are a technical diver, or you're an instructor with like 2,000, 3,000 dives. I'm pretty sure you will benefit from the class. There is no special skill level required, so no doubts in regards to that. Number 2, many students want to show up to the class being already perfect divers. But the fundamentals class is a class, and the purpose of a class is to learn. Still, it is easy to mistrain skills without proper feedback, and it is very difficult to unlearn these mislearned skills once they found their way into your muscle memory. And that's the reason why I always advise students that come to me and ask what they should train in advance, that they should not do it. Don't train in advance. If you can't resist to train anything, just go diving. Be confident in the water and be confident with your equipment, but don't go on YouTube, watch like the S drill, the valve drill, and try to train this by yourself without having a proper feedback. Number 3, bring equipment according to the GUE standards. You can download the GUE standards and have a look at these and look for the GUE equipment configuration using this link, Dr. Benjamin Ott DE/standards. This link points directly to the GUE standards download page. Additionally, I created a series of YouTube videos addressing exactly this point, addressing the necessary equipment for the GUE Fundamentals class. So check out my YouTube channel if you like. I'll give you the link at the end anyway. Number 4, still at any time you should contact your instructor, your GUE instructor beforehand. Your instructor has valuable tips on how you can be best prepared for the class. If I can, I try to go diving with my future students to check out their equipment before and maybe give some tips on the preparation of the equipment, on what they should bring to the class. Maybe they need to buy some new things, stuff like that. It's just annoying to show up for the class, and it's annoying for the instructor and the student alike. If the student shows up for the class and you just then recognize you missed something, maybe you missed to buy something, or you use some kind of equipment that is not according to the GUE standard, then you have to replace it. So please contact your instructor first. Number 5. Number 5 is, in my opinion, the most important tip. Never ever take the class just for the plastic card you get in the end. Anyway, you pay for the training, the certification has to be earned. The real value of the class is, and this is the loop back to the beginning of this talk, the real value of the class is the knowledge you gain, not the certification. You will be a better diver in the end. You will, I'm sure about that, leave the class with a new view on diving as a sport and a passion. But most likely, you will not extend your certification limit. And that is not what this is all about. And this is the reason why I renamed kind of the talk to how not to extend your limits, but how to gain new knowledge about diving and how to become a better scuba diver. Yeah, I hope I could give you some insights into the fundamentals class, the GUE Fundamentals class, based on my personal history. And I hope I could tell you why I chose GUE as a training agency and why I was really happy to become GUE instructor in the end. If you like to know more about that, you can connect with GUE as an association and me personally on social media, whether it's Facebook. You can just punch in facebook.com/GUEHQ or facebook.com/Ben Ott GUE. You come to my GUE page, or on Instagram, GUEHQ or Benjamin.Ott. Or you can follow GUE on the GUE YouTube channel, or my personal YouTube channel, Dr. Ben. The easiest way to find this is to punch in the hashtag GUE divers in the YouTube search, and you will find my channel and GUE's channel. There you can get more valuable information about the GUE fundamentals course, GUE in general, and how to be best prepared for the GUE fundamentals class. Thank you for listening. I think my time is almost over now. Thank you, John. You can visit for sure, I forgot that, the GUE booth here at Scuba.Digital, and there are always competent people to answer your questions about GUE training, and maybe GUE projects, whatever you like to know. Thank you for listening, and yeah, have a nice evening and enjoy the rest of the show.